noise!
Welcome back to the next part of this Truth and Rhythm episode. Be sure to subscribe to this channel. If you've already done so, please share it with friends. Also become a member by joining Truth and Rhythm on Patreon, or consider donating at funkinstuff.net. Thank you so much for your interest and support. Enjoy. Hey, before we get started with today's show, I just want to draw your attention to new merchandise. Funkin' Stuff and Truth and Rhythm designs are in, and they look pretty darn cool. So show your support, help support the program, and show off some stylish merchandise and apparel. Only at the Funkin' Stuff store.
And now, if you're black, you got to be a rapper, right? You got to go to jail. You got to be a rapper.
Yeah.
You got to get street credits, and then we'll, Cardi B is like, come on. And I got to sit here and watch this. It's just so sad.
Yeah.
And the only good thing about it is that if we reflect on the good times and real music like you're doing, thank God, bless your heart, and getting that message out there, because there's so much more to come, and then we just get off this reservation of rap, and gangster rap, and everybody's a pole dancer. I don't know if I'm just getting older, but it's kind of like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Do better,
yeah, it runs course. I mean, that's why even just 20 years ago, Prince backed off of that and stopped using all the profanity and stuff and just focused on the music, because it was like it'd gone past any kind of. Yeah, no, he
took it all the way out there, and he has a lot to be. He had to come back, pull it back, because I saw him perform, and I was a little afraid for him. I was like, you're dealing with some evil forces here, man. Some forces that I don't think you realize that you're tapping into something that's very negative, and you're inspiring a lot of children and people who you don't know. You're putting something out there. And if you don't believe it, in it, and he didn't, because when I met him, I thought he was this freakish guy, this crazy guy who's just out there. No, he didn't believe in none of that stuff. He wasn't gay. He didn't watch any porno. He didn't believe in that stuff.
Are you talking about meeting him on that tour or later?
On the tour. We were on tour together. He hung out on the bus with us. We played basketball together, and he was nothing like his image. And it was incredible. So I'm thinking, what are you doing? Do you realize what you're doing? The forces you're tapping into with all this stuff, and he comes out with the drawers on and the ass hanging out, and little kids are looking, going, and I'm going like, oh my God! It's like he really used some forces that I think that he regretted down the line, But I regretted it when he did it,
That was like 1981 when you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that he was dealing with some very dark forces that, I think he was just trying to get paid, and the people that were controlling him were just trying to get him paid, and he just went along with it. But he pulled it back, and he changed as time went on. But yeah, I think he really regrets.
But behind the scenes, he was just a regular cat, right?
Yeah. It was nothing like what we saw.
What about Rick James?
Rick James was Rick James. He was living the rock and roll lifestyle to the hill. Till he got sick, he was just living the lifestyle. We hung out at his house a couple of times. And, excess of everything. Excess. And, he was the kind of guy that if you didn't get along with him, you might have to knock him out. And a couple of times I almost wanted to. And like that story, did you ever see the stuff with Dave Chappelle?
Yeah.
That's true. That's just that.
I'm Rick James, bitch, yeah.
Yeah, that's really him. You have to really wow. you know, and his name was Johnson too. His real name was Johnson, so I'm a Johnson, and he's a Johnson, and I'm like, look, man, you better call that stuff out there because you're about to be big kids without no teeth. But he was a lot of fun, and you know, he big ego. He thought he was the stuff until Prince came out and blew their band away. Then that tour ended. We came out first, and then Prince was on the side of the stage watching us every night. They was at our sound checks because we were the fusion guys. We were the progressive guys. We were the guys that played licks. He loved our guitar player, Eddie Martinez. He would be out there watching everything Eddie did, you know, and we were honored. He was like, wow, okay, cool. This is before he became Prince, you know. This was just a young group, and they just had I Want to Be Your Lover. You know, they had that one song out. Who knew it was going to be, you know, turned out to be what it did, you know. But it's history now, but it's amazing. These cats came in, did their thing, and now they're gone, you know. It's amazing, and I'm honored to be alive. I'm honored to be still, you know, a relic of that period, but I'm still here. At least I can tell the story to you. And, you know, I'm still playing, and what's left of the music industry, I'm playing locally here. I play out in Long Island, this group called the 70s Band, and they work a lot, and it's lucrative. I don't have to get on a plane, you know, and my fingers still work, and I can still sing a song. So
That's
I'm
fantastic.
honored to be able to still do that, you know what I'm saying?
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so glad that you are too, because, you know, like you said, I mean, I feel like I'm in a race against time in a lot of ways doing the show, because I'm trying to get, you know, all the great players from back then while they're still with us. So, you know,
That's it. Well, I just turned 65 in August, so it's like, wow, who ever thought that, you know, 65 would come so fast? Got a grandson, and you know, music is still important to me, but it's not the whole world to me. You know, I'm every day I take with a treasure. I take every breath as a treasure. And today with the COVID thing, so many people left here. You know, I'm just honored to be living and breathing every day. If I'm playing, fine. If I'm not playing, fine. You know, God's been really good to me. I got a loving wife. I got my daughter is a up and coming artist. She's an actress. She's going to be something else. Her name is Ashanti J. Aria. And my son has his own business, and life is good right now. It's my second marriage, you know, and I'm friends with my ex, and it's just a really good time right now. You know, I stopped for a while and was working with the Board of Education, you know, for about 20 years, so I was able to get a little pension. I got my health benefits. I just got 2 new hips.
I have one.
How long ago?
5 years.
How's it doing? Is the numbness gone yet?
I still have a little numbness.
Yeah, they say that won't go away all the way completely.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
But are you riding bikes and doing things that you want to do?
Oh, a bicycle, yeah, but I cannot run like I used to.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we don't have to run. Hopefully you live in a neighborhood where you don't have to run.
Yeah. Not out of choice only, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to talk about some of the other records you went up
Sure.
doing too. So you also were on the Nard record, which was another sort of, I won't put it quite on the same level as Don Blackman's, but it's pretty in there for a funk, you know, record. And
Yeah.
what do you remember about doing?
Nard comes from Blackman. Nard grew up idolizing Don Blackman. They're from literally, they lived around the corner from each other. And Nard is another anomaly, brilliant protege. He played at my wedding when his feet couldn't even touch the ground. You know, he was like, have you seen this kid, the JR Experience, young kid? He's a phenom. He plays keys, plays bass, plays guitar. The JL Experience, have you seen that?
I'm not sure.
No?
Not ringing the bell.
Anyway, Nard was one of those guys. You know, perfect pitch. He played at my wedding. And so he came up after that, jazz cat to play, and he grew up. You know, it was just a natural progress. After playing for Donald, he wanted me to play and sing on his album because he idolized my band. I had a band called 5 Carat Soul, my neighborhood band, the band that I grew up playing with. And his band was the Young Fireballs. They would open up for us, and they would do shows with us. So they grew up idolizing us. So when he got his deal, he wanted me to play and sing on his album. I sing that song, please just don't ignore all what you really came here for, and please don't you ignore things that are like keys to doors. So we did that in the studio, and then we did background. That was when people were still doing hand claps. So that was another extension of the Jamaica thing. Tom Brown, Donald Blackman, Bernard Wright.
Did you ever play on any of Tom's records?
No, because I left after that, and I think Sekou Bunch played on it. I did so many artists before they got their deals, like playing like live in local clubs. And then they got the deal, and then I was gone, or they were gone, or just didn't work out. I played with Melissa Morgan. She had a couple of hits.
Speaking of Prince, she redid "Do Me, Baby."
Sure. And we did a gig, a long-standing gig in Manhattan at a club called The Cellar for like a year. And then she got signed. And then I went somewhere and she went somewhere. Johnny Kemp, same club.
Just got paid. Yeah.
And then before he just got paid, we were down there, creating music. He got signed, So when I did How You Doing with Kenny G, for me, they wanted to sign me. Clive Davis wanted to sign me, but it wasn't the right time for me. It wasn't the right time. I knew that if I signed and was just putting all my energy into music, I was going to sacrifice my family. I was going to be gone. I was going to be like, so I just kind of did everything I could not to get signed. They came down. It was all the bottom line in Manhattan. Kenny G's record was out. It was a hit record. Okay, we're going to feature Barry Sonjohn here. Barry Johnson's going to come up and sing the song. Whitney Houston's there. Clive Davis is there. Clive Davis looks me in the eye. He grabs me. I want to sign you. Scared the hell out of me. I wanted to just, okay, all right, thank you. No, thank you. It was like, I don't know. I don't regret that.
Was Preston Glass or Joe Plass, those guys involved?
Preston, yes.
Yeah. He was on the show recently. We were talking about Kenny G. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. He was a big producer for them.
Yeah.
But the production I did was it was under Kashif, and it was Wayne Brathwaite, the bass player, who produced it under the umbrella of Kashif. Did a great job. It's called Hi, How You Doing? What's happening, baby? Hey, how you doing? Ooh, and my guitar player for my band, Steve Horton, wrote it. He's from Queens too, and I did the vocals. So yeah, it was an interesting time for creativity.
How did you connect with Cameo?
Cameo just called me out the blue one day. I don't even remember what happened. Larry Blackman called me one day. He's from out in Long Island, one of the places, but we went in the studio and did Single Life, and then one day I was somewhere, and I heard it go like, that sounds familiar. Wait a minute! Oh my God, that's me! It's Single Life. Don't. That's how it is. You do stuff, and you go on, you move, and then you hear one day at a bank, and you go like, wait a minute. I was in the bank one day. I was at the ATM, and I had Robert Palmer early in the morning. The bass solo, oh shit, that's me. Hey, yeah.
Did you play on Simply Irresistible too, or just early in the morning?
Simply Irresistible, just on fire. I don't think so.
Same album though, and the Cameo, I think, was Attack Me With Your Love on that one too.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, man. It's just incredible how that happened. Like, boom, But yeah, it's been a nice ride.
And Atlantic Starr, how did you connect with them?
Atlantic Starr, you've done your homework.
Well, yeah, I had one of the brothers was on the show, and yeah. I played on If Your Heart Is In It, Why Don't You Tell Me So? Yeah, that was nice. I also did a track with Dave, sax player. Oh my God. Cause?
No, not Dave Cause.
Sanborn?
Who?
David Sanborn?
David Sanborn, yeah. He flew me, they sent me a limo, And Marcus produced the track, and we did it at Minot Studios. It was great. It was really nice. It was a nice day. Yeah.
Well, did you actually get to, in doing the Cameo record, did you go in studio with Larry Blackman?
Yeah, which is me and him, really.
What was he like?
He was very quiet, very cool, very focused on what he was doing, very professional. Didn't really get into no lengthy discussion. I just kind of did it, and then that was it. Gone. Thanks. Cool, man. Yeah. He was very focused, very professional.
At that point, they had like whittled down like three guys, and they were using outside players.
Exactly. They split up, and it was just I didn't even get into the politics of it. I was just okay. We'll do it. We did it, and that was it. The rest is history.
I'm thinking that Atlantic Starr record, sales and radio play wise, is probably the most popular one that you've been associated with.
You think so? I wonder because nobody sent me a gold record or a platinum.
That's a huge hit. I mean,
I know. Kenny G owes me a platinum record or a double platinum record. Robert Palmer, I got Robert Palmer's right here. That's a platinum one. Some people owe me some things.
Yeah, well, they'll see this and hopefully, take action.
Yeah.
But what is I like to ask some of my guests, what does funk music mean to you, and why is it so special?
Funk music, well, it's just an original. It's just a derivation from the gospel, from black music, it's just an extension from the soul, from the R&B to the funk. It's a natural progression. Now, funk is within all those things. Funk in the church, some church stuff is funky as can be, and but they just took that element out and focused it on that. James Brown took it and focused. Sly Stone took it and made this little area over here, and then it became its own entity. But it comes from the church. It comes from the lives of the pain and the suffering of my people from what they've gone through, being American descendants of slavery, right? Because that's what we are. We're American descendants of slavery. So that music is a part of the pain and the frustration of not being understood, of being used and abused, but finding our happy place. It's gospel. It's all of that, and that funk is a extension of that. That's what funk is. And so I don't know where it's going. I guess rap is also an extension of that. But rap is going in another direction. And but the funk is definitely. I mean, James Brown would explain it. What is that? He said, "That's a saxophone." No, it's not. It's a drum. What's that? That's a bass. No, it's not. It's a drum. Everything was a drum there. And if you don't feel it, you don't create that funk, you ain't doing nothing. You got to get it on the one. So the funk, you do it until you get that thing. It's got to breathe. That music has got to breathe. If it's breathing and it's funky, then you got it. If it ain't snapping, then that ain't the funk. So call it what you want, but to me, it's just an extension of the gospel and the pain, the blood, the sweat, and tears of coming to this country and being here and expressing ourselves in any way we can. And I think that's what funk is.
And how does it touch you when you're locked in the pocket in that groove?
Oh, when you're locked in the pocket, the groove is surreal. It's like you leave your body. You're gone. It's like it's not even you anymore. You're a vessel. When it's there, so it's just it takes on a life of its own. You just going with it. You know what I mean? It's surreal, man. It's like very few things feel like that, but you can leave your body, man. It's just an interaction. When you're watching people respond to it, and you're responding to them, responding to you, and there's nothing like it. It's just the sweat is poured off you, and everybody's dancing. It's deep, man. It's like having group sex. It's like you're playing all of each other, everybody, all at the same time. It's awesome.
There you go. Yeah, the first was the historical perspective. That's a visceral feel,
Absolutely. It's that connection. You need people to do it can't do it all by yourself. You're playing off of each other. Yeah. And that funk happens. You know when it happens. You know it.
What was there anyone in particular that stands out that you saw play back in the day and the peak of prime funk and that music that just kind of blew your socks off?
Larry Graham. I saw him. I was in college. I was like, what? Like, wow. It was like, because I didn't get a chance to see Hendrix live. Okay, but Larry and his band encompassed all of that Northern California funk that came, that funk, because they had a different funk in Northern California. George Duke had it, Sly and the Family Stone, Larry Graham. And when I saw that here in Queens, like here, and they were, man, it had that thing. It had that thing that we were all, and that was it. It changed how I played after that. I met him a couple of times. He's a Leo like me. He even called me up to play. There used to be a club here called Tramps. And he called bass players up to come up and play. That's how confident he was with his thing, And I went up and did what I did, It's like, he was like, okay. And that little, that made it for me. That's all. I played a line. We both played, right? And then I played a line, and he said, that was validation for me. And really nice guy. And
he was a nice guy.
But live, man, they found the funk. They stayed in the funk, and they wasn't stopping until you got funked.
Tighter than tight. He had his band.
Tighter than a gnat's ass. Tight. So he had that thing. Who else? I could see it with Sly and the Family Stone. I could see they had that thing too. And who else live? Man, a lot of local groups here had it. But then when I saw Larry Graham do it like that, I had never seen anybody do it like that. And then they had the rock element too. It was like he had both of those things. The funk didn't. It wasn't just funk. They had the rock element too. And then Funkadelic took it to another level. When I saw Funkadelic, it was the same kind of thing. They took it to another level. Yeah.
You talk about being confident enough to have, you come up and play or whatever. I remember I saw Stanley Clarke once, and he invited any bass player in the audience to come on up and play with him. And there was this line of about a dozen guys living out their all-time dream and just strapping it on and taking a turn with Stanley.
When I was a kid, we used to have a place called the RKO here. All the groups would come to this place up on Jamaica Avenue, 5 minutes from here. In fact, I lived closer to it then. I could walk there. Kool and the Gang, the OJs, James Brown, the 5 Stair Steps. On any given weekend, we could see these groups. So I used to go there. I didn't have $5, so I would take my guitar case and go in the side entrance. They think I'm in the band, right? And I would just mingle and hang out. And I remember having this recurring dream. Oh my God. It was like Kool and the Gang, because Kool Bell was the bass player. And I knew all their songs, so I was like, I used to have this recurring dream that, sorry to tell you, but Kool is not feeling well. Is there any bass player in the house who could come in? And then I would go, oh, and just catapult me up over the audience into the bass, which is bass on my neck, and I would just turn it out. I had that dream over and over again. So I guess that when I did the thing with Larry, it was kind of like that. It was like, wow, here it is. The dream that you dreamt, here it is. I couldn't believe it. But that's incredible, man. Yeah. You got to be careful what you think, because it can come true.
Wow.
It really can.
And I'm so glad that he's still playing, And
yes, sir. His brother just passed. Yeah. They've been doing it for so long, man. What a great group, man. They stood the test of time, years and years of music. They were just as much a part of my musical experience as anybody. Growing up in the kid playing the block parties, playing all the Kool and the Gang stuff. Oh man, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. How did you connect with Robert Palmer?
Robert Palmer's guitar player is Eddie Martinez, who was the guitar player with Twennynine, Lenny White. So it was just, he said, you gotta get back. Their bass player was in rehab or something like that. And they called me. And then I got a chance to record with him and do like a couple of gigs. Yeah.
Did you get to meet him?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And was he was a cool guy?
Very nice guy. Liked the sauce a little bit. Liked to drink the sauce. Heavy on the sauce, but a sweetheart. A sweetheart. I think it eventually took his toll on him. He was a heavy drinker, you know. But he could create some things after he had his Jack Daniels, man. I saw him in the studio, man. It was like, wow, how'd you hear that? That was after he had a couple of drinks, man. He would really hear some stuff. I mean, he was very talented. He could hear.
I'm sorry, Barry. Did you say you performed with him or only in studio?
No, I performed some gigs with him.
So you got to do some of the repertoire of...
Yes. We did a whole set. We played in Universal City. We did a gig in LA. It was a big gig. Joe Smith was there. All kind of people was there.
Because he had a lot of hits.
He did. Yeah, he had major backing behind him, and he was their guy. Yeah. Eddie Martinez on guitar. So we just loved it, man. You talk about play loud. Oh my God, that's the loudest I've ever been on stage and play. I said, Eddie, isn't this shit really loud? He said, it's rock and roll, man. It's rock and roll. Wow, I'll never forget that. And I can take a lot of music. That was loud for me. I mean, my body was like that. It was shaking, man. It was crazy.
Did you say was Eddie also from Jamaica?
Eddie's from the Bronx.
Okay, because I know he also, worked with Run DMC, and they're from Queens. So
yeah, sure. And that happened because of Larry Smith. Larry Smith is the guy who produced Run DMC, another bass player from here out of Queens. He also played with their group, the Fireballs. The Fireballs, they got on the local guys that come in and out to play bass for some reason. Me, Larry Smith, Dave Jackson, Marcus Miller. We all were in that band at one time or another. The Fireballs, they're like a staple here in this community. Those guys. So many people came through that house. It was a mother and father, and they had about 8 kids, and half the kids were musicians, and they had the basement set up down there, and we went down there and played, and they had gigs all year round. We played all the vocal society stuff, weddings. They were like, when I was a teenager, they had it going on. They were like a working band. They did all the cover tunes, but that's how we learned to play. We played over and over again, played this stuff, learned how to entertain, and Winky and me and Howie Great and Denzel Miller and then Nard came through there. I mean, that house, the Great House, you should interview that house alone. Those guys created it was like a school. Mama Great and Papa Great, right? And they never locked the doors. You could go in there and practice anytime. Ronnie Drayton, Bernard Wright, Don Blackman, Onaje Allen Gumps, Najee. We all went through that house, the Great House, Grate. And it was like a meeting place of the minds. And we jammed, and we did gigs, and we rehearsed. And now Mom and Pop are gone, and, it's amazing, man. But that house was a part of our learning tree. You can go there anytime.
Wow, it should be like a historical landmark.
It should be. It literally should be. And they've named the street after the father recently. Henry Great Way, because of that, because we all came through this. You ask any of these guys from Queens about the Great House. You ask Tom Brown, ask Bernard, you can't ask Tom, but ask anybody who came through there, they'll tell you their story. Everybody got a story at the Great House. And that was our local place to go and play, and with no judgment. You could, whether you were good or bad, you strive to get better. If you couldn't play, look, come over here and play this, you play. We learned to play there, and it was a beautiful thing.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. I'm going to say that's the reason that I didn't, progress on my instruments, is there weren't many basements in Los Angeles, so I didn't have any basements to go do my thing in.
Right, without driving your parents crazy. Turn that damn thing down. We could go down there and they don't hear us that much, right? You can just turn it down a little bit. And in Brooklyn, they didn't really have that many basements either, or in Manhattan. And they say that's what makes the Queens musicians a little different, because we have that edge where we could practice. We got more playing time in because we had basements. Yeah. So that's what makes us a little different.
Yeah. You mentioned Najee, and I wanted to comment. You were on his Earth, Wind, and Fire tribute album, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So the Larry Dunn thing kind of had a later on,
Yeah, it's all connected in strange ways. it's amazing. I mean, Larry Dunn picked me up from the airport, and I was like, Larry Dunn, wow. I had never met him. I knew Earth, Wind and Fire was already famous. And Lenny didn't tell me he was going to send Larry Dunn to pick me up. And here comes Larry Dunn at the airport. I'm like, holy shit, Larry Dunn. Wow. I was just like, in the car with him, like, wow, Larry Dunn. It's amazing. I'll never forget it. He was so cool and so forthcoming and so down to earth and so real. He was the producer, and he did. I see how Earth, Wind and Fire did the things they did, and how I was right there watching them do it, and we became really good friends. We're still friends to this day.
He and his wife, great. They're really good people.
Oh, they are. They're really genuine.
Yep. So, is there any particular show or performance or just experience from the road that just stands out that you're like, that maybe you've told and been like, I can't believe this happened? And
oh boy, yes. But I don't think I can go into it now. But there was one time where we were so crazy. We used to fight and wrestle. Me, Donald Blackman, he's a big dude. I'm a big dude. We used to fight and wrestle in a brotherly way. And we were in Norman, Oklahoma. And after the gig, we started wrestling and fighting and carried on and broke one of the doors in the club. Everybody had gone home. And it was crazy. We were crazy. Broke one of the doors in the club. So we get to the hotel room. This is Norman, Oklahoma. Okay, everybody has guns. So this guy comes up and says, I don't know what's going on, but somehow I'm going to fix my door. And he pulls out. So we're all in the freaking hotel, cowering down. Oh shit! And then our road manager goes down and talks him down and calms him down and pays for it. And another time we were in L.A. We were so crazy. I don't know. I guess we were living a rock and roll fantasy or something, and we were doing stupid shit like we would get water balloons on Sunset Strip, a hotel called what's it called? The Hyatt House, but they used to call it the Riot House, right? All the rockers stayed there. The Comedy Store was right next door. Roxy. The Roxy was down the block. So after the concerts, this was like a local hangout. So we would get water balloons, and at that time, in the early '80s, late '70s, early '80s, prostitution was ridiculous. It was just Sunset Strip at night was just crazy, like everywhere else in the world. Yeah. So we would get water balloons and throw them at the prostitutes off the 10th floor, and then running hard in our rooms. Crazy things like that. Pull a fire alarm, cut shit. I mean, it was crazy. But the main person that was doing this was our guitar player, Nick Warrock. He was like a rocker to his heart. I went on tour with him later on with this artist called Claude Nougaro in Paris. We played, it's another artist. His music was French, but he's like the French Tony Bennett. Very famous. And we did a album called Live at Les Zines. It's a big venue in Paris called Les Zines. And we played there, we toured. I went out with him twice. And that was the European tour. And then with Eddie, we went to Japan, and we toured with an artist called Ryuichi Sakamoto. He got Academy Award for the movie The Last Dragon. And he was a funker to his heart. He loved funk music. So he wanted to add that funk to his Japanese thing. He's a classical piano player, but he loved the funk, classical and funk. So that's on YouTube. The tour was called Neo Geo.
Sounds like Bernie Worrell, classic and funk.
Yeah, very much so. He did the music for The Last Dragon. He got Academy Award for that. And we toured under the name of Neo Geo. It's Ryuichi Sakamoto, Claude Nougaro. I mean, it's been great. I've had a chance. This instrument has taken me around the world, in one form or another. In fact, this is a bass Marcus sent me.
No pick guard.
He said, He said, "You need a new bass? You need a bass?" He sent it to me. It's his signature bass. I was like,
Nice.
"Cool, man." Sure, why not? I could use another baby to the house, but you know, I've had a chance to do it on different levels. I've had a chance to see the world. I've had a chance to open up and play music and live a dream. I'm not rich, and I'm not poor, and I'm still healthy, and I consider that a win-win.
Absolutely, yeah. Well,
Absolutely.
so good to hear, man, Barry. And
Yes, sir.
how can people kind of keep tabs on you a little bit? So maybe when this pandemic lifts, maybe you'll do some shows or whatever you're going to do.
Yeah.
How can they keep up?
I do. There's still stuff I want to do. I want people to know the voice. They hear it, but they don't know it's me. So I'm not quite finished yet. I'm going to keep on keeping on. I'm in the transition of me and my wife are thinking about moving out of New York. We want to go south where it's a little warmer.
Come close to me in Charlotte.
Where are you?
Charlotte.
Okay.
So, hey, thank you so much for the stories, for all the great music, for joining the show, and much appreciated. And so glad to talk to you, and wish you just health and more music.
My pleasure. God bless you for what you're doing, getting the story out there, keeping this going. It's a wonderful thing. It's a story that's worth being told, and I'm just happy to be a part of it. And I'm happy that you found me to share my part in it.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Truth in Rhythm. A big thank you goes out to our guest as well as to you, the viewer and listener. Also, much gratitude to Pleasure for supplying the show's funky opening and closing music. As a reminder, you can always access the complete list of linked shows by episode at funkandstuff.net. I urge you to support this program and receive the extra benefits along with that by subscribing to the Funk and Stuff channel on YouTube and sharing it with funk, R&B, and jazz lovers, joining Truth and Rhythm's membership program at Patreon, submitting a donation at funkandstuff.net, buying Everything is on the One, the First Guide to Funk book at Amazon, shopping at the Funky Things store for cool merchandise at funkandstuff.net, and linking through funkandstuff.net for all of your Amazon purchases. In addition, if you're an artist or anyone seeking proven, results-oriented professional marketing, PR, writing, or editing consultation or production, check out the media services section at funkandstuff.net. Also, I encourage you to drop me a line at scottg@funkandstuff.net. I love the feedback, suggestions, guest requests, appearance and sponsorship inquiries, and just talking about my favorite subject, groove-based music. For now, and as always, this is Scott Dr. GX Goldfine saying, keep on vibing to the rhythm of the one.